Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Top Knockouts UFC 315 edition, where I look at every fighter on the main card of UFC 315 and I look at their best knockout win. Has to be within the UFC and they only get one. And certain fighters only have one, and then I basically just rank them. Now unfortunately we had a couple of fighters that were ineligible to make the list due to the fact that they didn't have any knockouts within the UFC. Alexa Grasso, Carl Propolek, Manon Fiorot only has 2 TKO victories within the UFC, and due to Sean Brady, Belal is barely eligible to make this list. So yeah, usually this doesn't bode well for a card. However, let's be optimistic. This could be a good card, please. Anyway, starting off this list, before I do so, just a reminder to click the like button if you enjoy the video, click the subscribe button. It really goes a long way in aiding the growth of this channel. I would really appreciate that. Let's start off this list. At number 5, Jack Della Maddalena versus Gilbert Burns. Now an honorable mention for Jack Della Maddalena is his knockout win over Pete Rodriguez, which was also very clean. However, Jack Della Maddalena has had 7 fights within the UFC. And in this 7th fight, prior to fighting Belal Muhammad this weekend, Jack fought Gilbert Burns on the 9th of March 2024. And in the 3rd round, after being taken down throughout the entire fight, Jack was losing the fight. Had that fight go to the distance, Jack Della Maddalena would not fight this weekend. But in the 3rd round, after standing up from a Gilbert Burns takedown, Gilbert decided to shoot once again, and ended up taking a massive bite out of Jack Della Maddalena's knee due to the fact that Jack perfectly timed his knee, caught Gilbert Burns. Gilbert then went on to go to the ground and Jack just unleashed a flurry of punches, elbows, anything that he could land, he landed. Any possibility of what could happen, happened for Jack Della Maddalena, just unleashed on Gilbert Burns' head. Like Gilbert was the boy who stole his childhood crush, Jack Della Maddalena ended up winning that fight via brutal ground and pound. Via devastating elbows, devastating punches, just a beautiful sequence for Jack, and it warranted him the victory over Gilbert Burns, which also then, as we know now, warranted him a title fight against Belal Muhammad. A beautiful knee followed by devastating ground and pound. Jack Della Maddalena at number 5 on this list. Then at number 4, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Matt Frevola. So Benoit Saint-Denis debuted inside of the UFC as a welterweight, ended up fighting Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos in his debut, ended up losing, but afterwards transitioned to lightweight and went on a 5-fight winning streak, beating the likes of Gabriel Bonfim, beating the likes of Thiago Moises, and in the 5th fight of this 5-fight winning streak fought Matt Frevola on the 11th of November 2023. And in the 2nd minute of the very 1st round, after Matt Frevola landed a knee in the clinch, he started to backpedal and started to circle. Unfortunately for Matt Frevola, he circled right into Benoit Saint-Denis' coveted left head kick, which knocked Matt Frevola out cold. Benoit proceeded to land a couple of shots on the ground. Wasn't necessary or super necessary, depending on who you rooted for in that fight. Ref got him off of there. Benoit Saint-Denis via knockout. An impressive win for Saint-Denis, which warranted him a fight against Dustin Poirier afterwards. Now we know how that played out, but take nothing away from Benoit Saint-Denis. Matt the Steamroller Frevola head kick fight's over. A beautiful left head kick from Benoit Saint-Denis. A couple of punches proceeded, and number 4 on this list. Then at number 3, Natalia Silva versus Tereza Bleda. After beating Jasmine Jesuda Vicious in her debut in June 2022, Natalia proceeded to fight Tereza Bleda in November of the same year, in a fight where Natalia looked really good. Now I don't mean physically that her strike. Anyway, in the 3rd round, after landing a beautiful combination, Natalia grew in confidence, and the snowball started rolling. Downhill, fast, because Natalia proceeded to constantly move forward, had Tereza on the back foot, had her backpedaling, had her back up against the fence. Tereza knew that she was in dire straits, knew that she had to do something. So she chose to shoot for a takedown. And the obstacle in the way of securing said takedown, Natalia Silva's spinning back kick, which absolutely rocked Tereza's boat, had her dazed, and then Natalia proceeded to land a couple of shots. Referee stepped in, said, "I've seen enough, this is over." A beautifully timed, accurate spinning back kick from Natalia Silva. This goes to show just how good and sophisticated of a striker Natalia Silva is. An impressive victory, an impressive performance, impressive knockout for Natalia Silva. Definitely warrants being on this list, definitely warrants being number 3 on this list. Natalia Silva spinning back kick knockout over Tereza Bleda. Then at number 2, the former, or rather reigning, King of Rio, Jose Aldo versus Chad Mendes the first time. Now listen, Sonny, back in the golden days of the UFC, where UFC fight looked like two crack addicts fighting over a light bulb, Jose Aldo was the king. When Aldo fought in the WEC, he had 8 fights, ended up winning all of them. Then the WEC merged with the UFC, and Aldo then fought inside of the UFC. First fight, fought Mark Hominick, ended up beating him. Second fight, he fought Kenny Florian, ended up beating him. And in the third fight, fought Chad Mendes on the 14th of January 2012. And literally in the last seconds of the very first round, after breaking from Chad Mendes' hold, Jose Aldo blindly threw a knee which connected as flush as you could ask for, sent Chad Mendes backwards like a blast wave. Aldo proceeded to land shots while Chad was on the ground, and both the referee and the bell thought this was enough, simultaneously ending the fight. You know how many seconds was left? 1 second left of the very first round. A beautiful knee from Jose Aldo. Once again, Aldo showing that he is basically impossible to take down. Broke the hold and just threw a knee for goodness sake, and Chad Mendes ended up eating that knee like a main course meal. A beautiful knee, Jose Aldo knocking out Chad Mendes, number 2 on this list. Then at number 1, Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Ai. So Valentina became the flyweight champion of the UFC after beating Joanna Jędrzejczyk, then proceeded to defend her belt the first time against Jessica Ai on the 8th of June 2019. Now fun fact, after beating Jessica Ai, spoiler, she went on to defend her belt 6 more times. Which is the reason why Valentina Shevchenko undoubtedly is one of the top 3 best women fighters of all time. But back to the story. So Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Ai. First round, Valentina throws a left body kick and then proceeds to wrestle Jessica Ai. Valentina wins the round. Second round starts and Valentina is spamming body kicks. Just left body kick followed by left body kick, setting up right on cue. The left head kick from Valentina Shevchenko landed a hand grenade on Jessica. Landed a foot grenade on Jessica Ai's head, which knocked her out cold. No follow-up shots was even necessary. We saw Valentina looking for it, and then the ref thankfully stepped in on time. Fight was over. A beautiful head kick from Valentina Shevchenko. Jessica Ai turned into Jessica I am asleep. Iconic as well, beautifully timed, beautifully set up. I definitely believe that this is warranted to be number 1 on this list. And that's basically the list. Top knockouts, UFC 315 edition. Let me know in the comment section, do you agree with the order? Is there a knockout that I'm missing out on? Arman Zahabi's knockout was also good over Draco Rodriguez. However, I don't think that, it's as good as these ones. But let me know, I would really appreciate it. Have a beautiful day.